Welcome to Conversations with Tom Shorkey. Conversations explores the past, the present, and the future of the communities in which we live through the eyes of interesting individuals. Now let's join our host, Tom Shorkey.
Welcome to Conversations. I'm your host for today's program, Tom Shorkey. With us, we have two very special guests today. And when you're done, you're going to know all about the Lazy Llama in Marine City. So what I'd like to do is introduce the co-owners, Wendy Kellhan and Diane Street. Welcome to Conversations.
Hi.
But before we talk about how big the herd of llamas is in Marine City, let's do just a little bit of background for our audience. Now, Wendy had some Marine City roots. Where'd you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Marine City. We moved out to the country, Marine City, when I was almost 8. I was, a few months short of 8. So I basically grew up in Marine City. I went to East China Elementary. I went to the middle school when it was still downtown. And then I went to Marine City High School and graduated from Marine City High School, went out to Western Michigan University, and, then graduated, did my thing from there.
And life started.
Life started, yeah.
Well, It's interesting, Wendy, when you mention East China Elementary, no longer in operation. She mentions Marine City Junior High, no longer in existence. And for our audience at home, if you just take a moment, this is the Jeopardy part of the show, think about the corner that the old Marine City Junior High School was on. Washington and Main Street. If you go, I think there's some senior apartments that are there now, and that was before you got over to Marine City High School.
Correct.
Class of?
77.
77. Diane?
Royal Oak.
Royal Oak, Michigan.
Yep.
Where'd you go to high school in Royal Oak?
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's High School.
Yeah, 1 through 12.
Well, I hate to say you guys have something in common. St. Mary's doesn't exist anymore either. But,
no, it doesn't.
No. So you were an Oakland County girl growing up.
Oh, yeah.
And after you got out of St. Mary's, within a year or two, you started your first business.
Yeah, I opened up my first business in 1980 out at 14 and Mile in Hagerty, and I was there for 15 years.
What kind of business was that?
It was called Chet Street Gallery, and we were framing, mostly framing, but we did have some small accessories, candles, picture frames, that kind of stuff to sell.
How does a kid from St. Mary's High School that has no wood shop or anything like that and end up in the framing business?
When I got out of high school and I was doing some community college, I went to work for a gentleman in that industry that he needed someone to do some picture framing. So I learned from him, and I kind of liked it. I came from a family of engineers, but I enjoyed working with my hands and making things. So I guess I just stuck with it, and here I am,
And then, Wendy, you gave us a little background on growing up, but, you forgot to tell us about one of the most significant events in the history of Marine City High School, which you were an integral part of. The class of 77, what happened that year?
The girls' basketball team, we won the state championship.
State championship back in the good old days. Leonard Golding was the coach, and I forget who that young guy was. That was your high school principal at that time, but that was an exciting year.
I think it was kind of funny. I walked in, I go, God, I've never had, and it was never in the principal's office before.
Yeah, there you are, and you're here again.
I'm here again.
No, that was an exciting year for Marine City.
Exciting.
For everybody who followed basketball, that was kind of neat. Okay, you were in the frame business.
Mm-hmm.
You went to Western, and you were in education. And the first job took you where? California?
Yeah. I moved out to California. I didn't have a job when I went out there, but I moved out there and I landed a job teaching in a private school. And I was teaching. I had a little Gary Coleman.
What was he? No, he wasn't. What was their show?
What you talking about, Willis? Different Strokes.
Different Strokes.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay.
China Phillips from Wilson Phillips, Josh Brolin. I was definitely working with the kids that were seriously from the 90210 series.
Well, that's kind of cool.
It was an experience. Yeah, it was very cool. It was very cool.
So why wouldn't a young teacher stay in California for the rest of her life?
Well, for one, you're working in a private school, and even though you're working with people who have, the kids are driving cars worth more than you have in your checking account. They didn't pay well.
Yeah.
But it was still, I could have gone, and I started looking into going into LA Unified. But then it was a case where my dad was sick, and there was things going, and I was just coming back and forth too much, and so I just decided to come back. So I came back and, started subbing. I subbed in East China and Algonac for a while. And then I landed a job out at Clarenceville School District, started as a sub and a coach. The rest was history. I was there, what, 30 something.
And I think for our audience that walks into the Lazy Llama needs to know, you've only been retired less than a year.
Yeah, July 31st.
But you were the assistant superintendent at Clarenceville Public Schools.
I was.
And Clarenceville's kind of a secret to a lot of people. It's a little district, but it's within the city of Livonia.
Correct.
So you retired as the assistant superintendent over there. And then somewhere along the way, somebody got a hot idea about taking a drive to Marine City.
Someone we know did.
Yes. How did we end up in Marine City with your new store?
Go ahead.
Well, I had closed the second business I'd owned because the economy had gotten so bad it couldn't sustain itself. And I was working for a friend as a nanny for a few years. And my friend Wendy here said to me one day, let's go for a ride. And I said, okay, where are we going? And she said, let's go to Marine City. And I think it was about halfway up here. I said, why are we going to Marine City? And she said, we need to look at some buildings. So it just kind of went from there,
Yeah. We looked at, a few
Couple
buildings in
yeah.
town. We looked at where right now the music store is on Water Street there. We looked at the building next door to it. We looked at the dime store. We looked at where the Mariner is right now. We looked at them.
When we had the idea to open the store, we didn't want to rent. We wanted to own a building. We didn't know we wanted to buy the building that we have, and we didn't know we were going to live above it, but we just knew we were going to do it.
So you end up either having lunch or dinner with Donna Tebow, the Vera Grace Emporium there. And one thing led to another, and
now we're in her building.
Yeah.
and living in above it.
Yep.
All right, well, that's cool. The name, Lazy Llama.
Okay. We had, I don't know, you might remember, viewers might remember the song, If I Had $1 Million. Okay, well, there's a line in there about buying emus. And this one goes, I wouldn't buy an emu, I'd buy llamas.
But I didn't even know what an emu was.
Yeah, she said, what's an emu? And I was like, okay, so I explained it to her, but then she said, we'd buy llamas, but we'd have to buy two. And we would, of course, have to name them Lucy and Lester. That was going to be the names of our llamas. And then the thing was, my dad was still alive, and we were driving back out here pretty much every weekend to do his groceries, help him out a little bit. And one day we were just talking about it, and we came up, and we were coming up 26, and right there at Palms and 26, as we're talking about it, there's like this llama farm right there. There's all these llamas there. So this whole thing with llamas has always kind of stuck with us. So we were, when we decided to open, we had, and we're pretty sure things were rolling. We had the building and everything. Now we're thinking about a name, and Diane, her sister, and I were sitting there, we're hashing out names, and
we had told her the llama story.
Yeah,
my sister.
Yeah, and we're just jabbering, and I say at one point, what about the Lazy Llama? And these two are they're just talking. They're just talking. And they're coming up with all other kinds of, I'm like, yeah, whatever. They just ignored me. They didn't, And about a half hour later, we were shopping, we were in Costco or something. Yeah. And they come running up to me, Wendy, we got the idea, we got the name, how about the Lazy Llama? I go, I just said that. So that's where that landed.
Yeah, it's stuck.
People like the name. They have.
It is a cool name.
Oh, yeah,
it's a cool name, and
catchy.
if Paul gets a close up on your shirts,
our logos there. Yeah.
A couple cute little logos there. Diane, describe what's in your store. What do you have?
We have home accessories or gifts. Like if you needed, we carry a great line of artificial flowers. We do a lot with our flowers, or you could buy a candle, or maybe you need a mirror or a clock or a small piece of furniture. You know, we carry just a lot of different things.
And you are in no way an antique store.
No, there's nothing old. If I have something that looks old, it was made to look old. It's not old. Yeah, we stick strictly with new things. Yeah.
And how's business been?
So far, so good.
What's unique about the Lazy Llama? Why do people come back?
I think it's because we do have, the store's comfortable, for one. I think and that people have said the store, your store's so cool. You've got such cool things, and it's so comfortable in here.
Yeah, we
there's
work
no
hard at
high
that.
pressure. There's no, just come in, walk around, do whatever you want to do. And we have pretty much something for everybody's taste, I think. However you want to, whatever. I mean, even if you just want to look around, So, and our size, I think our size makes a difference because there is space for people to walk around in and just be there. And, we have people, they've been in there hour, just walking around, looking. So,
sometimes we take things for granted. If somebody's listening to this and wants to visit your store, where is it? Tell them how to get to it. Where are you in Marine City?
We're right on Broadway, coming into town. We're at pretty much the heart of the water district there. We're on right across from the clock tower.
Yeah, right at Main Street there.
Right at Main Street.
So if you come in downtown by the city hall where the traffic light is,
yep, come right through the
head
light.
towards the river, and you're right next to the old church.
Yes,
correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big sign.
They sell
Can't miss
antiques
it.
now or something.
Yeah.
Can't miss you then.
No.
All right. What's the most challenging aspect? Seeing you both, you had a couple different jobs, positions. You were in the school business. What's the biggest challenge for being in the retail end?
Even being in retail before, I think you still have to learn the area, learn your customers, and learn what levels to keep what inventory at. And I wouldn't call it a struggle, but it's a challenge to constantly get the right amount of everything in the store that you need and what people are looking for.
And I had heard that you sometimes have some cool things in your store, and then you find out that Myers has them. So what is your reaction?
We will normally drop the line.
Drop the line, because you want specialty type
Well,
items.
it's not that it makes the product any less, but Myers can buy at a volume that we can't. So now they can sell it at a price that we can't. So we can't compete with that. So we're not even going to try. We're going to move on to the next thing.
Wendy, after being in the school business, a lot of different positions, out in Oakland County, now when you wake up in the morning and you go, oh, we got the store downstairs, what puts the smile on your face? What's kind of the most enjoyable part about that?
That we have the store downstairs.
Yeah.
And it's ours.
Yeah.
And, the stuff we deal with is our stuff. It's not, I used an example. One of my colleagues from Clarenceville came up the other day and we were chatting and said, he asked a similar question. I mean, it wasn't, quite like that, and I said, we had a thing where it was somebody wanted something shipped. We kind of quoted them on the shipping. The shipping was a little more than what we expected it to be, and it didn't matter. We were still going to honor that price that we gave them on the shipping. And so, the fact that we ate $10, $15, whatever it was, on the shipping, it was our problem to deal with.
Yeah.
It was our problem to deal with, where if that had happened back at school, it probably would have been a $1,500, $1,000, $100 mistake, and it would have been, it would have been dealing with the business office and everything, So now it's our stuff.
Yeah,
it's our deal.
Put your heads together and say,
No, we don't sweat the small
No.
stuff. It's not worth it.
Yep. And the drive is easy.
Yeah. Don't put quite as many miles on your car.
Oh, the traffic on the stairs some mornings.
Yeah, the first day I
Diesel,
drove to work,
yeah.
I'm driving, after we moved up, first day I'm driving, and she calls me, and she goes, oh, the traffic on the stairs was awful. I'm like, really?
Well, let's talk about internet presence, Facebook, web page. Every good business has to have some kind of contact with the
social media.
The World Wide Web.
Yeah, yeah.
So how do you guys deal with the technology
Well,
part?
we have a Facebook page that is very active and we post constantly on it. And we have our LazyLllama.com, which is doing well but needs to grow a little more. So we use them both.
So you use you're the Facebook person.
I do our
and
Facebook,
you do
and
the Facebook
yep,
and
Wendy
the
does
posting,
our website.
and you do the web page.
The web page
So
and
if somebody
the
goes to your web page, what are they going to see?
Well, they'll see, of course, our typical, about us, and they'll see a little history about us and that kind of thing. But then they'll also see some of our favorites that we have. We have, some of the pictures of items that we have around the store that are pretty hot right now, and we try to stay up with that the best we can. And then links to our store, or to our online store, how they can get there. And also, we have a contact page, so they can contact us through the web page, where that comes into us as an email at the info@thelazylllama.com. So, but the web page is, it's pretty much it's all of our same colors and that kind of thing, and it's like I say, it's growing. It is actually kind of fun to play with. It's fun to
Between the web page and the Facebook, do you have people asking you about things?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Often?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to answer them and get a connection with people, and
We have a lot of people engaged with our Facebook. A lot.
What do you guys do special events too in conjunction with what
we
goes
have.
on in
Yeah, we
Marine
have.
City?
We've Marine City does the big Maritime Christmas every year, which is a pretty big event. But we've done a few of our own. We did a fashion show with Lacy Lou's, which is a women's boutique in town, and they did a fashion show in our store. So we kind of, it helped us and them at the same time. We've done a couple private wine and cheese parties, which the women love to do that. What else have we done, Wen?
Let's see. We have done something else. What
Well,
is
those
it?
are good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and it'll come back to you. Well, let me ask you this, because you grew up here, and you've had relatives here forever,
Oh, yeah.
and used to come up here often throughout your youth and whatever, and you remember what Marine City was, we'll just say 30 years ago.
Thank you.
Talk a little bit about the revitalized Marine City and what's going on. What do you see?
I think the one thing that when I was here, your stores, you had your drugstores downtown, you had the bakery downtown, the Rib was downtown, bars.
Yeah.
Of course, Apple Core was down there. But now you've got a variety of there's shopping, there's food, there's bars, there's everything's down there, So somebody can come down there and they can just, you can hang out down there and just along between Broadway and Water Street and just, you can spend a full day there.
Yeah.
And just walking, and we have great park. Our parks are nice now down there. They're pretty, they're comfortable. And
Hotel.
it's active. Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, the new inn down there, but it's comfortable and it's active. It's very active. There's activity down there all the time. I remember that town, it would close down at 5 o'clock. It
Sure.
was done. But I think it was Friday night was a big night because things stayed open until 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Well, one of the first shows I did when we started Conversations almost 2 years ago was Bill Daniels, an old historian from Marine City. And when I asked him about how's life in Marine City, he said it's really cool and you can't find a place to park. And that is kind of the case, especially if the theaters have some
I always
things
tell them,
going
you just
on,
have to go a block.
And it doesn't matter. It's not just summertime. Like if you're in a Lexington or you're up in the Leelanau Peninsula, they got like a 2 or 3 month window, but it seems like you've got year-round
all year
activity.
Yeah.
Do you have locals? Do you have out-of-towners, Canadians? Where are your customers coming from?
All the above. Yeah. We have some customers that come from far, hour or two away, and they come just to come up to Marine City. I have a group of friends from Rochester that didn't even know about Marine City. And now they come and they don't even see us sometimes. They come up to go to a theater, or go out to eat or anything.
Will not, with the ferry being out of commission for a while, have a bearing or not?
We don't think On us, we don't think so.
Yeah, I
We
think
really
we're
don't think it
too.
did.
I think we're too new to say if it's really hurt us or not. I know it's hurt some of the restaurants and the candy stores and some of the right downtown, but for us, we're just not in a where we can tell right now. We can't tell.
Well, and when they get it up and running, it'll be like a bonus for you
Oh,
guys.
yeah,
'Cause you
yeah.
haven't been in business
Yeah,
long
yeah.
enough to realize that.
Right, right.
Well, and I think the one thing is too, because that question that we were asked, by the chamber. Was it the chamber that asked us? Because they were doing a little study to see just the impact, the financial impact on businesses. And a lot of the business owners are saying the same thing. It's not like it used to be where you had a Canadian customer come in and you were doing a Canadian exchange
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
cash with them. But now everything's credit cards. And
Yeah, you might
so-
not even
yeah,
know they're
you-
from
Yeah.
Canada.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know.
that's a good point.
So unless they announce it or their card acts a little weird or something like that,
Yeah.
you don't know.
That's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Who's been influential in your lives? Has there been anybody that's kind of, you think back, had some decent advice along the way?
For me, it's probably family. Family for sure.
My family, my sister, my brother-in-law who's passed, my brother, my parents,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I can say I had a mentor as an educator. It was, the guy who's the current superintendent, Paul Shepik, who's the current superintendent at Clarenceville right now. He was very influential in my life. Yeah.
What people in this area realize that back, I think it was in January, there was a monster fire in Marine City, and that was right across from your building.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Relive a
Yeah.
couple of moments for us on what was going on that night.
Yeah, it was crazy. Some popping woke me up, and as I'm waking up, I'm smelling smoke, and I'm like, oh, that's not bonfire smoke, that's smoke, regular, And I panic, my heart right away, and I'm thinking, well, no, if that's us, because all of our smoke detectors through the building are connected, so if one goes off downstairs, it's going to go off upstairs. So I go running through, and I'm looking down, and I'm half asleep, and because it had been so lousy out, all the DPW hadn't had the opportunity to get Christmas decorations down or anything like that. So I sit up, and I look, and I look out the front window, and I see these lights over there, and I'm like, why is the DPW taking Christmas lights down at 2 o'clock in the morning, And then the smoke, everything just kind of registered with me, and I saw it, and I went and
Oh yeah, it was
woke
horrible.
her up. That was crazy. And then we called Donna and Bill Tebow, man, your building's on fire. You
Yeah,
know.
it was horrible.
But John, the guy who lived upstairs, was already down, and they were getting the
Owners.
owners of Newport out already, and yeah, it jumped on him quick. Even Dave Annenbosch said to me, he said, we have no idea how this fire got ahead of us the way it did. It was all on the wall, I guess.
It was horrible.
It was bad. It was
you
awful.
know, and a lot of those buildings were old
Yeah.
wood buildings
They
that
call
have
it
been there for
balloon
a long
construction
time.
or something, and
Yeah.
it just goes right straight up. Yeah,
And
it
they're
was
so
bad.
close together, you know. They're lucky. I mean, the fire department did a great job that they contained it to those two buildings, and it didn't go any further, you know.
Yeah, from about, I'd say, close to 3 o'clock on, we had, all the owners, Don and Billy, Dania from, Roger and her family, and, others were dropping in. I mean, they were just in the building.
Yeah.
Just, we were letting them just hang there and watch and meet with their insurance people and that kind of thing, so.
Wow, that was a scary night.
Yeah,
it
was
really
awful.
was.
How about a 30-second commercial for the Lazy Llama, Diane?
30-second commercial.
People watching this show have not been in your store,
Oh, well,
so
then they need
give
to-
us a commercial.
Yeah, they need to come see the Lazy Llama, because even if you don't want to buy, you just have to come and look, because there'll be something that'll yank your chain and make you want to come back for sure. Yeah.
Home accessory, classy lifestyle store, I think that's what we call
yeah,
it.
casual.
Say that again.
I said it's, I think on our webpage, it's like a classy,
Eclectic.
comfortable
lifestyle or something like
lifestyle
that.
store. Yep. That's
Well,
what
good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Now, if somebody came in your store and said, we're thinking about opening our own business, what kind of advice would you have for them?
better be prepared to live and eat, sleep and drink it.
Yeah.
It's 24/7. It's not
Yeah,
all fun and games.
people think you're going to open your own business. Oh, you're so lucky you have your own business. You can play golf and you can. It's not like that. I mean, we're there 7 days a week. You know, it's a commitment. It's a big, big commitment. I mean, we love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's a commitment.
Especially living above it. you know, because I remember
You
Donna.
can't get away from
yeah.
it.
Well, and I remember Donna when we were going through the whole purchase and everything, and Donna saying, you know, something, and then we may have asked her a similar question, you know, about what's the issue, is there any issues with living? She says, you can't get away from it. You don't get away from it, you know, because you say, okay, I'm going to take the day off, and you're upstairs, but you're constantly thinking that this is going on downstairs or whatever. So we rarely, if there's a day off, we very rarely stay there. We
Yeah.
go.
Get out of Dodge.
Well, I think you're a great commercial. Even though all of us are too young for the art program, they always talk in their magazines about people who reinvent themselves or begin a second chapter or do something totally different than they've done before in their lives. And with your school business, you've had a couple shops, spent significant time as a nanny. You're like living proof that, my God, there's something else.
Yeah,
if you
you
want
can
to
do
do
it.
it, go after it.
Yeah, it can be done.
Yeah. I mean, we're both, you know, young enough to say, yeah, we did reinvent ourselves, because I certainly could have worked longer.
Sure.
You know, but yeah, but we took a leap and decided that, you know, this is what we want to do, and everything we had, and we sold our home in Bloomfield, and everything we got from it and everything we had, we dumped right into this store.
Well, good.
Yeah.
And make sure your insurance is paid.
That's
Well, I'll tell you, that horrible fire across the street did have
Yeah.
me call the insurance company just to make
definitely.
sure we were on the right page, you know.
Well, for our audience at home, I hope you have enjoyed Wendy and Diane. The Lazy Llama is a unique little store, probably 50 feet from the traffic signal in Marine City as you come into town. Stop and see them. I think you'll be pleased with what you see. Check lazyllama.com on the web. They're active on Facebook, and I think Marine City is glad to have them. And Marine City, if you haven't visited lately downtown, check it out. On behalf of Conversations, Tom Shorkey, thanks for watching today.
You've been watching Conversations with Tom Shorkey. Conversations explores the past, the present, and the future of the communities in which we live through the eyes of interesting individuals. If you have an idea for a future conversation, please contact us at www.watchctv.org. Thanks for watching Conversations with Tom Shorkey.